Join us today as we have a few final thoughts on GenCon 2024 and maybe some preliminary thoughts on GenCon 2025. This is the Geek Cabal channel. I'm Bobby.
I'm Chad.
And today we're going to be doing kind of a final wrap up, final thoughts, addressing some things that have popped up online kind of video.
Only 2 weeks late.
Oh, no. I mean, we needed time to, let things settle. Hell, I'm still going through the videos from Gen Con. So there will be more Gen Con videos after this, probably. Because I know I still have to do a couple more montage type videos and then one with all the pictures and videos. So, other than that, I will eventually be talking about the stuff I picked up for Terraforming Mars. But I want to actually play it a few times with the new stuff to get a handle on, what it is so I can talk about it a little more authoritatively.
Okay, when are we doing that?
I don't know. I mean, figure me and Angela will probably be playing in the near future.
You're not inviting me, huh?
Well, you're welcome to come over, but it's a long game.
No.
Well, we had to play on like Friday night.
Oh,
you work Saturday, so
I work early Saturday.
Yeah. So anyway, maybe we'll work something out. So there. Okay. So final thoughts, wrap up kind of stuff. It did feel crowded this year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it always does, but like you could tell this was a sellout crowd.
Yeah, whenever Gen Con actually sells out tickets, you can always tell.
Yeah, I don't know why at this point, but I was surprised that it felt as crowded as it did on Thursday. Because I know from the numbers that Thursday and Sunday are the low attendance days. And Thursday still felt like a Friday or Saturday. And then Friday and Saturday felt ramped up. So, I don't know. I don't know what the solution to that is. Many have been proposed. We talked about a couple in one video.
Gen Con 5 days long?
Well, okay. So, I've seen novel suggestions like that. One guy actually had let's go the other way. Let's make it 361 days out of the year. And just have 4 days that aren't Gen Con.
I don't think the convention center would work with
that.
No. Or Lucas Oil.
No. He was joking, obviously, but, well, I hope so anyway. And we had a video where we were talking about another gentleman that had some issues, and we talked about him, and I to be clear, in case I wasn't in that video, I do see his point. As far as it is crowded, and there are less hotel rooms than there are people attending. Like, it's not that I didn't see his point. I just disagree with the cutting it off at like 50,000 people, which I think was his suggestion. Because I just don't think that would actually work for the convention itself, because there are certain things that have to have a critical mass of people. And we're going to kind of talk about one of the potential issue areas that I think maybe there's something that could be done, but I don't know how you'd really go about it. Now they are building new hotels downtown.
Yep.
In fact, there's going to be one. I think it's supposed to be open by 2026. That's going to be right next to the convention center where the Pan Am Plaza was, which is right now a crater, which I don't know why I didn't get any pictures of that for the montage.
Because we only ever really saw it when we were driving by.
But yeah, but we also saw it when we were walking over to Lucas Oil a couple of times. Like, I could have gone up to the Skywalk over to the Crown Plaza and got some pictures. But if I go up to Indianapolis for anything in the near future and I find myself downtown, I'll do that. Now, the space that was there did have an underground parking garage, and the hotel will have an underground parking garage. That's why there's a 3-story deep crater, because they're building the parking garage. Now, I don't know if it's going to be more parking, the same amount of parking, hopefully more, and hopefully it allows outside parking.
Yeah.
But even if it doesn't, that will still somewhat alleviate the other parking garages, because people will be parking at that hotel instead of the other garages. And on that front, there's something happened with Big Ten, not Big Ten, Gate 10 parking, and I believe some of their lots, the space was bought up by other companies for other purposes. So yeah, that happened just before Gen Con. And so they were kind of scrambling, as from what I understand from the forums, as far as like, hey, where are we going to park these cars now? And I think some people ended up parking like at the zoo, which is not exactly, it's not super close. It's not super far, but it's not super close. Um, so I don't know what's going on with that. As soon as I get a beat on that, there'll probably be another video. If nothing else, I'll address it in like 3 months when I put up the hey, the badges are about to go on sale video.
Here's your time to start begin thinking about Gen Con.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that here at the end of the video. Stuff, stuff that'll be coming down the road here. So there will be more rooms now. Proportionally, I don't know how many more. I don't know if that will allow them to sell more badges because right now the limitation is what the fire marshal says is the attendance capacity of the building, or possibly just the main hall. I don't know. I'm not keen on exactly which area they're saying only holds. I think it's about 75,000 people. I don't know if having that attached building, if they'll be able to say, well, this is more space so we can have more people. I'm kind of hoping not, even though I know I just got done saying I don't want to see it capped at 50,000 people, um, because this will allow things to spread out a little bit more. This will alleviate more rooms. This won't just be expand and then immediately just fill it with new people, because that'll be the problem. And that is the problem with most of the solutions, because I saw proposed, this is the usual, hey, Gen Con's over. Let's start the clock to see who's going to recommend we move it to Chicago, Las Vegas, Atlanta, or New York, or Philadelphia. Although we did get the curveball with Seattle as a suggestion this year, I haven't seen that one very often. Most of the gaming companies are in Seattle, so they're like, they're right there. It makes sense, except no one lives there, like proportionally. So that is the problem with every idea west of the Mississippi. Again, I mentioned this in the other video, but for those of you who don't know, look at a nighttime picture of the United States. You'll notice that everything east of the Mississippi looks like the surface of the sun because it's lit up because there are people and there's electricity and there are lights. Everything west of the Mississippi looks like it's still the Old West. There are no lights because there's no one lives there. You've got little pockets here and there, like Kansas City, maybe. And then you get down to like the coast, like southern, like Texas, Las Vegas. Then the east coast, or sorry, west coast is lit up, but you go very far inland and it's not.
Yeah.
So it just the population density just isn't there. 2/3 of the population of the U.S. lives east of the Mississippi River. So from a numbers standpoint, the convention is probably always going to be on this side of the Mississippi River. So Las Vegas is probably out. Now, there's other reasons why Las Vegas is out. One, it is really goddamn hot in Las Vegas in August. I've never been there in August. I've been there in July, though. And I remember coming in about 5 in the afternoon. It was 115 degrees. I mean, it's a dry heat, but it's still 115 degrees.
You're also going to be limited on space in Las Vegas.
Uh,
They have conventions going year round out there.
right. In Las Vegas, like other people pointed out, we would just be just another convention. We wouldn't be like the convention.
Yeah. That first weekend of August, Indy seems geared towards Gen Con.
Right.
Like, you will be driving 465 and you'll see welcome Gen Con attendee billboards that Indy put up for people coming in, be like, welcome to the city, enjoy your stay.
Right. And like the downtown restaurants, they cater to this crowd. Some of them have their own menus. Some of them encourage their employees to dress up. We even where we're staying out there with our friend Chris in Greenwood, people out there they know what's happening. They question because a lot of them don't go down there, but but they're curious about it. They know why people are in town for it, and we see people out there, wearing paraphernalia that obviously that's where they're from.
Yep.
Like one year, Chris and I were staying. I think we were staying with Angela that year, and so whenever we got back out to Avon, we stopped at White Castle, And the other people there obviously were from Gen Con. They had their badges and everything. So,
Well, even then, they're in Greenwood staying with Chris, getting supper like Olive Garden one year.
yeah.
I noticed other people there with badges.
Yeah. Yeah. I know not this year, but last year we saw the folks, was it last year or the year before? We saw the folks with the Battletech shirts.
Probably last year.
Yeah. So also shout out to Battletech stuff. But yeah, so Indy is very welcoming, and they accommodate. And from everything I've heard from about other cities, that's just not going to be the case. I've heard horror stories about Dragon Con in Atlanta,
Yeah.
and I've also heard horror stories about what Dragon Con will do. Apparently, because they know there's a limited pool of people that'll work conventions. From what I understand, and this is what I'm hearing the second and third hand. So, put your hearsay on here. They apparently they will schedule mandatory meetings the days of those other conventions, and if you don't show up, you will not be working for Dragon Con ever again. And like they're the one that's not going anywhere. So, are you really going to risk that for the go to the new guy that might not make it? And so, yeah, as I understand it, that's what they do. So yeah, they're very territorial and very petty from the sounds of things.
Yeah.
Plus, the city itself seems, to, from everything I hear, has very much a "okay, nerds, you spent your money to get the hell out of our city" attitude towards them. And apparently, driving in Atlanta is a complete nightmare. So
There was one place I remember seeing thrown out there for moving Gen Con to.
yeah,
Back to like Geneva.
I've heard that, and I think everyone's just kind of like, no,
Too big.
like there's a reason why it moved. We can't hold it in a high school gymnasium anymore.
Yeah.
It's bigger than a high school gymnasium now at this point, I'm sure. We need to go up there for Gary Con. I think that's still held up there
Yeah.
just to see it. But then it was in Milwaukee for a while before Indianapolis, and apparently, like it outgrew that. So
But Indy's accommodating.
yeah, it's accommodating, and it's they're building more hotels.
Hmm.
So
And it is pretty close to the population center of the U.S.
yeah, I think the actual I think what they consider to be the center of the population is somewhere here in southern Indiana. I just don't remember where, like geographically.
And then another thing Indy has going for it, direct international flights.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
those who go to Gen Con from international locations, not just U.S.
Although I have been told that is one of the only advantages Chicago has. Apparently, flights into Chicago are cheaper than into Indy. So now I don't fly into Indy, so I don't know that for certain. But that's what I hear online.
We drive.
Yeah, I mean I have flown into Indy, but that was a return flight from Las Vegas one time. So yeah, you have that, but also there's a cost factor to it. If like what it usually boils down to is the argument to try to move to Chicago. The others you can rule them out pretty quickly, but Chicago is it's very close by, so it's a 5-6 hour drive from Indianapolis, which means it should still be within a 1 day drive of 2/3 of the population of the U.S., like Indy is. Now, trying to leave Chicago is a nightmare. I've been involved in that once. The convention center is bigger. I've been to it for C2E2. It is bigger. There is parking at the convention center. Having said those things, there is like one, maybe two connected hotels, from what I understand. Everyone else is driving in. And Chicago has a bit of a reputation for people getting high velocity lead injections.
High speed lead delivery, Bobby.
Yeah. And, whether that's deserved or not, that is the reputation that it has. I imagine most of that is not in the area of the convention center, but
In the areas to get to the convention center, though?
yeah, depending on where you are. Now, some people argue the numbers that per capita you're actually more likely to suffer that in Indianapolis, But again, that's also like in other places. And this is one of those deals where, yeah, per capita, maybe, but that's because there's a massive population difference between the two. And the not per capita numbers, like the raw numbers, tilt way in Chicago's disfavor on this one. So, this is one of those where per capita isn't the one you want to use, I believe.
What about, is it St. Louis close by?
I've heard St. Louis.
But I don't think they have the capacity, or they definitely don't have an international flights.
I don't know if the airport's an international airport or not. Um, but yeah, I've heard St. Louis thrown out there because it's got, it's similarly located.
It's actually rather close by, like a 3-4 hour drive from
Yeah,
here.
yeah, for us it's about a 3 hour drive.
So, but
However, uh, St. Louis also has the same problem that Chicago has in the high velocity lead problem. Because the city of St. Louis, which is not the totality of St. Louis, has an insanely high rate on that front. So you have that, um, but I don't know as far as like connected hotels and everything. That's the big draw is that Indianapolis has basically rebuilt itself as a convention city and has tried to go out of its way to handle conventions and sporting events and really up their game whenever they got the Super Bowl a few years ago.
yeah,
So
all those skywalks are real nice.
yeah, so yeah, you've got that going for you, but you also have a cost element. Okay, if you move to Chicago, it will be more expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and the arguments I've seen put forth essentially go like this: There's okay, well it can handle more people, but will it be handling more people? Because if the cost goes up, it stands to reason that attendance is going to go down because it only sold out like about 2 weeks before the show this year.
Yeah,
And you have plenty of people that are like, man, this is starting to get expensive because it is. It's
and
been going up a lot.
the only other year that sold out was the 50th anniversary that I can remember.
There was
Well,
one
recently.
There was the 50th anniversary, and then one of the years in between. I think it's the year or the second year after the 50th it did, and then it didn't sell any.
Yeah,
The old
and then it sold very little.
the unknown virus of indeterminate origin hit us. So um, yeah, so the problem is Chicago's going to increase the cost. Okay, so yeah, you might have greater capacity, but if you increase the cost, are you going to have more people? And if you don't, then then you've lowered the attendance in all likelihood, while causing all the vendors to have to pay more money to attend, and everyone else to pay more money to attend. So now they have less money to spend on the vendors. It's just a bad idea. And part of the argument they were making had to do with you know the thing I just mentioned, and oh well, there'll be more room. People will spread out. And I'm like, no. What's going to happen is there will be more vendors.
Yep.
Like,
GenCon will get more vendors. The aisle width will still be the same.
yeah,
Booth space will still be the same. It'll just be more booths.
yeah,
So you'll still be jam packed in Diller's Hall.
right.
Uh,
And that's what I'm kind of.
the
That's
vendors are probably going to give less of a convention deal,
yeah, probably.
because I bought a 3-pack Arena Rex miniature set with one of their starter sets, and it listed MSRP $50.
Mm-hmm.
They rung me up for 40, $10 off for being at the convention.
Yeah, I mean there are deals to be found,
Like,
but there will be less so if the vendors have to pay more to be there.
yeah. Then Gen Con itself ain't going to see as much of a boost in profit as people are saying, because more area to cover in convention wise, and all that means they're paying more money to be there. They're also having to pay more people to staff it, because they're expecting a boon in how many people are attending. So they're going to want more people at will call and help desk
Right.
and all. They're going to want more people just out and about to keep an eye on stuff, keep stuff going, like into Diller's Hall.
Yeah, if C2E2 is any indication, they're going to have more security for sure because we had to go through magnetometers
Oh,
to get in, and so they had to manage that line and everything
yep.
else.
Another thing you'll see.
And so yeah, there was that. Um, but yeah, I just, in my opinion, with Chicago, you're going to hit that. We're increasing the cost, which is going to decrease attendance. Like there's no argument that you're going to increase attendance when you increase cost. In the history of business, that has rarely ever happened. It has happened at least once, but it's very rare. As a car company, I want to say it's BMW, but I could be mistaken. They produced what they were marketing as an affordable car for families. You know, but it was still quality, and they weren't selling it. They brought in someone to take a look at it. And I think it was within an hour or a day or something. He's like, "Well, the problem is you're not charging enough. You got to charge more money." And they're like, "What?" Like, you got to charge more money. See, people view your brand. They know you're a high end brand. They look at this and think it's some cheap knockoff you guys have made. It's a pile of crap. Like, charge more money. They'll know it's a product worth buying, and they'll buy it. And he was right.
But we already know Gen Con's
Well, right. There's nothing.
value.
Right. There's nothing that with Gen Con that, like, oh man, if only they charged more, then it's probably worthwhile. Like, no, 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 no,
I want them to be charging a little less.
no. Yeah. So you would have that, but then things like True Dungeon are going to cost wildly more money because of, again, increased rental space. They're
Mm-hmm.
going to have, and I'm not putting down union workers here, but they're going to have a bunch of union workers move a bunch of stuff around because part of the contract with the convention center there, from what I hear online, and that will dramatically increase costs. Plus, just the general cost of living in Chicago is higher than in Indianapolis. So all the other costs will also go up. The hotels will probably be more expensive.
The money you're paying for your meals every day is going to go be more expensive.
Yeah.
Food trucks are going to be more expensive.
Well, if there are food trucks, see that is one thing. Their convention center is, like I said, significantly larger, and I'm given to understand there's actually like 5-star restaurants in there somewhere. We just, I guess Chris and I just never came across them, but there are. And like the food options inside the convention center, uh, I thought they were a little bit better than the ones at Gen Con and the Indianapolis Convention Center, but there wasn't nearly as much diversity between them because the main room we were in, the main convention hall, imagine it's larger than the dealer's hall. Okay.
Yeah.
But then imagine, let's say it's a rectangle, like this. There are two columns like this. And I think you have to go up to the top of them. There's a bunch of seating around the top, and you can see out across the whole convention center. Well, the hall. And up there is where the two restaurants are. And it's like Chicago style pizza and stuff like that.
I mean, that'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a different setup. And it was interesting, sitting up there just kind of watching the convention go on. And if I ever go back there with Chris, I'll definitely get some video just to show you guys what it looks like. But yeah, cost is the big thing, and that's what I was saying as far as if once they do build the hotels, if that doesn't allow them to expand the attendance, then things should thin out a little bit because there will be more events and stuff in the hotel space over there. Plus, more people as a percentage will be in hotels connected to the convention center.
Yeah.
So more people will see a benefit from it. Now, if on the other hand, it's like, okay, well, we can fit 1,000 more people over here, so let's up the attendance by 1,000 people. Well, we're just right back to square one. And so that's why I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't allow them to do that. But, we'll see. So yeah, hopefully that's not what happens as far as just raising the cap on people showing up. However, I suppose what that will mean is they'll probably have to start charging more money for the badges because there will be more stuff and costs are ever escalating. So
Why would Gen Con need to charge more?
well,
Because, okay, most of the hotel rooms are used by the companies there for seminars and such. The companies would be fronting that cost. That wouldn't be a Gen Con cost. What they would be looking at is the working with the hotel to get the uh, room block.
Well, I'm actually not so sure on that first part. I think that Gen Con actually is the one that rents those rooms out.
Really?
Yeah, and then they rent them to
Oh,
Hurricane
subleasing.
Seminar.
Got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Excuse me. I assume that's probably what they do.
But even then, that shouldn't make the badge cost go up too high.
Well, no, I don't mean that. Uh, I mean more that like costs will continue to rise. Plus, if there is a hard cap, then I mean the law of economics is going to kick in.
It becomes a premium product.
When you have a set number, but more people want it than can get it, the price
Costs go up.
the cost goes up.
Yep.
So that's just a theory, but I feel like I could pretty solidly bet on that. So there have been a couple other things people brought up recently on the fans of Gen Con Facebook group, which you should all check out. And one of those things is the idea of extending the dealer hall hours, which has gotten a lot of pushback.
Bobby, the hours right now are 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Yes, 8 hours.
8 hours straight. A normal working day for everybody.
Sure.
For most of the people. Across 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's 32 hours.
Yes.
This is not counting the hours the companies are putting in after it closes to make sure everything's getting set up for the next day or beforehand to finish setting up and all that. At that point, we're looking at probably they're putting in a 12-hour day, if not more.
I'm not so sure about that.
Maybe a 10-hour day, an hour before, an hour after.
Yeah, that's probably closer. Yeah,
but we also have to take into account VIP access to Dealer's Hall.
They don't have early access like they used to.
Oh, they got rid of that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, right now the VIG thing, very important gamer, as opposed to VIP, very important person, is the main reason at the moment is first dibs on the hotel rooms, and you have a place where you can store your stuff there at Gen Con. So, which remind me, something else along those lines popped up recently. So
10 4-hour days. That's 40 hours. That's their work week.
Okay, but that's not first. I want to be crystal clear that I'm not advocating for extending the dealer hall hours, but the people that bring these things up, like, there are several ways around this, because if you're extending the hours, you're doing this in anticipation of more sales. That's the only reason to do it. And if there's more money coming in, you can hire more people. Like, split the shifts. Don't, the only people that are going to be working those stupidly long hours are the people that actually own the company. Because that's what private ownership is all about in this country as far as companies. Like, if you don't believe me, go ask anyone that owns a restaurant that'll be honest with you. 40-hour work week, right.
Did you do a 40-hour work week?
I didn't own the restaurant. Well, actually, I did in the pizza place, but that's different.
Did you work a 40-hour week?
It was kind of close to it, but it's a pizza place. It is more specialized.
Yeah.
We don't do breakfast, for instance.
Sure.
Whereas a normal restaurant that's open, say from, let's say they don't do breakfast, say they're open from 11 to 9. Okay, sit down restaurant, you're already open 10 hours. You're already going to have at least a shift turnover in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And you've got just all kinds of stuff that has to be done both before and after before the restaurant opens and after it closes. Plus all the other just little things that have to be done. Like, like I said, find a restaurant owner that'll be honest with you. They work hours closer to that of like a farmer. Okay? Like, find a farmer that'll be honest with you and they'll tell you how many hours they work.
Sundown.
They'll laugh at the concept of a 40-hour work week. Now, again, I'm not advocating they should do that as far as extending the hours. But whenever I see people like, oh, but they're already, this many hours, and I'm like, again, if they own the business and they want to make the money, like, sacrifices are occasionally have to be made. We're talking, let's say that they go to Gen Con and Dragon Con and 2 other conventions. Okay, Origins and, I don't know, Adepticon or something. So for 4 extended weekends out of the year, they have to put in a few more hours. Like, I get that it's exhausting, but like, if you want to make more money, you do have to do that occasionally.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not advocating for that. What I would do personally, and this is probably a long shot because I don't know where you'd move the stuff, but the stuff that's presently in the gaming hall that's connected to the dealer's hall, move that out.
Lucas Oil.
Maybe, but I think the floor is pretty well used at the moment. It depends on how much space is in the new hotels. Maybe a lot of it could be moved over there, or could be moved to the Sagamore Ballroom on the second floor. But I think that's full too of like RPG stuff. So if you could find some place to move even half of that, it doesn't have to be all of it. Then there's a barrier they put up. Like once the dealer's hall closes, like they like shut the big air door, and you can't get into it from the gaming hall. Well, I'm pretty sure there's one of those that also can separate the gaming hall. But even if there's not, it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, I guess it does matter. If there is, then take the back half of the gaming hall, put the businesses in there that want to be open later. Have a set hour, say 8 or 10 or whatever. Then you'll close off the other area like you're already doing. Then those businesses can just stay open. The booths that are people like Miniature Market that I know have other, a bunch of employees because they're a real business front somewhere.
Hey, they have to man 3 separate booths. Okay.
I'm just saying. Maybe one of the Chessex booths because they clearly have enough people.
Because they've got like 2-3 booths.
I think they have 3. I think Crystal Cast has at least 3. But yeah, some of these
Q Workshop has 2.
Yeah,
every year.
But some of these, I think they have people. Plus, if they thought they could make the money, they would hire another person. Okay, because well, let's be honest. I don't know what they're paying these people, but I'm willing to bet it's like slightly above minimum wage as far as like actual pay. Well, let's say it's $10 an hour. No. Let's be real generous. Let's say it's $20 an hour. Okay, so the dealer's hall closes at 6, and let's say this other area is going to be open until 10. Let's say you're going to average 2 employees per booth because there's going to be less customers at that point. So for 4 additional hours across 4 days, you're talking 16 hours times 2 people is 32 people. There's 32 hours. $20 an hour is $640. So, do you think being open those extra hours you can make more than $640? In which case, the answer is yes. I would do it because it'd be worth the money. Like, it's very simple math, and it very heavily favors staying open later for the booths that can afford to do so. Because the issue is, not everyone's going to want to do that because there are smaller booths that, they don't think they're going to make the money, and they shouldn't be forced into that. So if there's a way to have it where the others are in a separate section that won't close until later, and just have them set up there. Don't split them up, just have them set up there, then, I would think some would want to go for it. I don't know how many, this is an idea GenCon had to float to them. But no, the main hall, 10 to 6 is fine, Or like we said one year, I think in the build up to this year, if you can make it 10 to 7 and say the last hour is, when it's like the free for all with everyone with the strollers and the baskets and everything else, and everyone else is just warned to stay the hell out of the way, maybe that. But yeah, I mean, the bigger problem, this is what someone mentioned, is that those same set of hours, that's when a tremendous number of the events are also scheduled.
Yep.
And so that's why there's the conflict. And so the problem is, how do you untangle that knot? Because the reason 10 to 6 is chosen for that and the others, because that's when people are active. Not everyone's a night owl. Not everyone wants to stay up until 2 in the morning and then try to wake up again the next morning at 10 o'clock, or well before 10 o'clock. So,
for your proposed $20 an hour, I'd be willing to work that booth overnight into the morning.
Yeah.
Just give me a bologna sandwich, and I'll be fine for lunch.
Yeah, it's like someone brought up, overtime, and I'm like, overtime? What the hell are you talking about? Let's say it's 4 hours of overtime, and you got two people at the booth. Okay, so 8 hours at time and a half, so 8 hours at $30 an hour is $240. You gonna make $240 in that time frame? If you will, then overtime's worth it.
Oh yeah.
Now that's very simplified math. There's other taxes that employer has to pay, so it is more than that, but it's not a tremendous amount more than that. But if you're staring at like $1,000 in sales for that, totally worth it.
Yeah, I had a buddy this last Gen Con, Doug.
Yeah.
He signed up for 2GM, some RPGs for AAW.
Yeah. Hey, not to interrupt, but we really should talk to some of these people that actually did do some volunteering and actually see what the numbers are for these things.
Yeah.
So I'll try to get a hold of Julius and see what he has to say.
But he signed he originally signed up for a number of them because you do so many hours for them, you get a free 4-day badge.
Yeah.
That's the draw. However, their hours running it was killer haul out hours.
Yeah, that's the big problem
and he realized he was going to be spending his Gen Con doing that instead of hanging out with other friends or going through dealer's hall. So he ended up walking back to one game.
Yeah, that's because I've looked at it before. Chris and I have for True Dungeon, and it'd be one thing if we could get okay, you guys will be handling stuff from 6 p.m. to midnight or something, which we probably could. But if we could get that gig and somehow got a free badge and hotel out of the deal, I would heavily consider that.
I'd do it.
Plus, you could get free tokens that only the people that work for there would get.
If I could do that and then have the 8 to 10 to get everything set up in the morning,
yeah,
I'd do that.
Yeah, but like I said, I got to talk to Julius about this, see what all he does. But I don't know what the point would be to be yeah, I'm going to sign up to do this the entire time all the other cool stuff is happening at Gen Con. It's well, why are you even doing it?
Yeah, sure. As a nerd, you get to learn a new game.
Yeah,
you get to see the product coming up. But what are you losing?
Yeah, I mean, if it was for Whiz Kids, okay, at the end of the day, it's probably worth it because all the promos you're going to get, you can probably flip those, and if you're into HeroClix, you're going to be doing stuff, well, maybe not HeroClix stuff, but you're going to be doing something WizKids related, and maybe.
But even then, sure, you're getting the promos and all, but you're not getting to go through the rest of the hall. You're not getting to go to the events attached to Gen Con.
Right. So now, I mean, if your game is Ultimate Werewolf, then by God, this is exactly what you should do, because you just play that in the off hours. But yeah, so anyway, like I said, I'm not advocating that they extend the dealer hall hours, but maybe a separate section somewhere, or if there's an issue that's stopping them now, allow them to sell stuff in the gaming area. I don't know that there is, because there's a couple booths in the gaming area that still sell stuff. But yeah, it might be because I look at Catalyst Games, they've got a huge BattleTech area, but they don't, as far as I know, they don't sell anything over there in the gaming area. And I think part of the reason is because everyone there at the BattleTech booth is an actual Catalyst employee. I don't think any of them are volunteers.
Most of the people there around the Catalyst booth, I ended up talking to because I was sitting down around there while I was waiting for you to get done in the booth for 4 days straight.
Yeah,
they were Catalyst employees. One was social media guy. One was one of the writers.
Yeah, I mean,
one was a guy who, the one year we went to the upcoming with Catalyst thing, he was there, and he was on. He's done game design for them.
Was it Lauren Coleman?
No, it wasn't Lauren.
Brent Evans.
If I am better with faces than names, you know this.
Brent Evans.
If you could pull out your phone and show me his face, I'd be able to go, it was him.
Does he stand about this high compared to me when I'm standing up?
I don't know. He was sitting down.
Mustache?
Maybe him.
Okay, well, that's Brent Evans. I can point him out. I can point him, Lauren Coleman, and Michael Stackpole out to you next year. Michael Stackpole is the old guy who was taking the tickets as he came in the booth. Which that name should probably sound familiar because he's written several BattleTech and Star Wars books. So,
Which I've not.
which I didn't realize it's Michael Stackpole till after the show, and I was like, man, like maybe next year let's bring some Star Wars books when I'm inevitably standing in line. Like, no, that's all right. Let those people go. I need you to sign these.
There you go.
But yeah, because I talked to Brent for a few minutes there.
I was talking to the one guy about Leviathan.
Yeah.
That they had a display for the ships. It was beautiful.
Yes, which if you want to see it, check out my video I did of the video montage.
I asked them how you got the little like Sky Factory.
Yeah.
You know what the response was?
We don't know. I was with you.
Yeah, we don't know. It just showed up there one morning.
Yeah. But
like, how does that happen? But then I was also like, I want these guys. Like, I'm going with these guys, which the Germans are the ones I'm going to keep. And so their comment is like, oh, so you like to snipe people? I'm like, sure. What I really wanted was the Americans, but stretch goals didn't get reached.
yeah, I mean,
yeah, if it does well at retail.
yeah, I'm sure that they'll, if it does anything at all at retail, I'm sure they'll get around to them.
Yeah, so you guys know what this means.
Sometime next
it's
year.
It's a pre-assembled, pre-painted game. You just got to buy the army.
Which, again, check out my montage that I did of the Leviathan's case.
Yeah, that's how they come. Except for we don't know how we get the Sky Factory.
Yeah, we don't know about that one.
But we know the others come pre-painted and pre-assembled and all that fun stuff.
But yeah, so that's what I would do to address that. But the other problem, like I said, is the events center around the same time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that there's a solution to that because you can't be like, oh, well, no one can schedule anything from noon to 2. Like, you just can't do that. Especially since the events go on into the night.
Dude, there's stuff there 24/7. 24 hours every day.
Yeah, I mean, the events drop off at like 2 or 3 in the morning. But, no, they don't end. They don't end. I'm saying the number of them starts to drop off.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of them running at 4 a.m., but there are still some official get-your-ticket events.
I've gone to an official event that started at 10 o'clock at night.
Candlekeep?
No, that starts a little bit earlier, I think.
Yeah, but it runs to like midnight anyways.
Yeah, which that actually sold out this year before I was able to get tickets to it. So
I'm sorry.
I've got to like figure out if I actually want to go to that next year, and if so, get tickets early. But yeah. So I lost my train of thought. Had a noise from the ether there.
Candlekeep.
Yeah, Candlekeep. Well, that wasn't what I went to. It was a comedy show. Kind of funny. Got a bunch of musical numbers.
Oh.
But the best part was like he's in the middle of one of them. There's two guys in the back that had like puppets that were doing like a puppet show earlier.
Yeah.
And so they're in there. So they're like reacting with the puppets. And finally he's like, guys, for the love of God, stop it with the goddamn puppets. Like, I can't keep my train of thought up here. He's like, I appreciate the energy and everything, but like, please stop. Yeah. I haven't seen him back in a while.
Well, yeah, look how the puppets treated him.
It was Luke Ski was his name. And I think he actually opened for the costume contest once or twice.
That is one thing. The pre-show for the costume contest seemed to be better this year.
Yeah, I only caught part of it, but it seemed like I shouldn't even say what I was about to say, and I'm not going to.
That one of the people's back and...
Well, okay. I don't want to at all put down the other women who do the show, okay? Because they're up there.
They are skilled.
They're skilled. They're putting themselves out there for everybody. I'm obviously not. I don't want to be like, oh, this show's trash, you know.
It is an entertaining show.
But there is one girl that's with them that was gone. I think she was gone for a couple of years. She came back, and I in my opinion, she's definitely more talented. And so, like, you can tell she is one of the more talented dancers that they have. So, and again, I'm not trying to put down the other dancers or anything at all like that.
But it also seemed to be more actual belly dancing instead of
Well, yeah,
what can we do this time?
yeah. The Marvel cosplay a few times there. Like I think that was peak. Like what is actually happening here?
They were redoing the movies.
And it's just kind of like this is great, but like again, not to be critical here, people putting on a free show that but like it's hard to belly dance if you're dressed like Yondu,
Yeah,
like in a trench coat with a shirt. Like it just doesn't work.
but I like the one this year better than previous years.
Yeah, from what I saw this year, it looked good.
Also, the sword dancing was cool.
Yeah, I missed that part.
Yeah, probably missed that part. Fake swords, obviously.
Well, but no, as far as as far as the costume contest, my big issue is
The usual thing every year.
yes, the usual. They tell everyone avoid flash photography because you'll be able to
Get photos
pictures
after the show for
in-
30 minutes.
in the room next door, and you'll have plenty of time and this, that, and the other. Now the flash photography thing, totally cool. I get it.
You don't want to blind whoever's up on stage.
Right.
Because they're already nervous because most of them aren't professionals. They don't do this for a living. And they're getting up in front of a crowd of hundreds of people.
Right. So, like, I get the flash photography. I'm not criticizing that. It's the other part. Because, like, every year, you get over there, you're in there for maybe 5-10 minutes before whoever's got the room next is trying to get everyone out. And, like, there's usually Gen Con people, like, helping them try to get people out. And it's one of those deals where, like, the costume contest sells 600 tickets. I mean, they're free, but,
It's obviously a big draw.
Right. It's a big deal.
And it's one of the things I like to say, I want to do this every year.
And, like, I have no idea what's after it. And maybe it's also a huge, for all I know, it's the Ennies or something right after that.
No.
But I
don't think it is.
Well, this year the guy said it's 500 people going to whatever it was. So, like, I assume it's also something big. But, like, they need to move one of those two an hour out of the way. Either make the costume contest start at 3 or make the other thing start at, like, I think it probably starts at 7. Have it start at 8. Have it built in because they're trying to get people out because it obviously starts after 6. It's probably got to be 7. Bump one of them 1 hour one way or the other. Have people from Gen Con who are there to tell everyone from the next thing, like, hey, part of their thing is they're going to come over here and take pictures. Because this year, they upped the dickery.
And blocked the doors going on.
Yeah, they just didn't even let us go into the other room, period.
Yep.
And the costume people were milling about, and they're like, hey, where is everybody?
Yep.
And then they're just kind of walking out the hall, ones and twosies. So alternatively, find another room and be like, okay, everyone, the costume people who want to, because, maybe they're done for the day, and we should respect their wishes on that. And, they're going to this room, follow this guy, and you'll have time to take pictures. Even if it's like, hey, let's go, like if you exit the room, hook a left towards the gaming hall,
Yeah.
then you come to that T and go right. There's that broad area right there where there's usually someone performing music or something.
Yeah.
Maybe just that right there, because it's public, everyone else can see them too, and but there's a big enough area if you're cording it off a little bit. Maybe you could just do that, and not even need a separate.
How late
room.
do they run RPGs up in the one room?
The Sagamore?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure later than 6, because that's where people go. Like, but yeah, so that's just something that that kind of that really irked me this year.
Yeah, it irked me too.
And so,
because I like getting the photos, and I like taking them before we started this channel.
Yeah.
And having them, and then we started this channel. It's nice to be able to show you guys what the costumes
oh yeah, I've got like almost 20 years worth of pictures. I really should just do videos for them someday. So yeah, so I don't know what the solution to the whole vendor hall and events at the same time problem is, unless Gen Con actively tries to get people to spread things out. But, I don't know if that's going to work. Uh, but yeah, other than that, the main other thing people brought up is storage. Like some people brought up the idea of a coat check because I guess there are shows bigger than Gen Con that actually managed to do that somehow.
Coat check.
Well, you like a bag check. It's not
Oh.
coat because it's August, but give them your bag, you get a ticket, and you come back and get your stuff.
Yep. For those of you who think August is cold, come to Southern Indiana.
No, August is in fact not cold here.
No, it is. Heat
you
index was above 100 today.
if you dress like it is cold, you will die. You will have a heat stroke.
Mm-hmm. I came out of work this afternoon at 3, and I'm like, for a split second, this is nice. Because I work somewhere it's nice. Cool most of the time.
Yeah.
And then again, usually there I have to have a fan on me if I'm sitting for an extended period of time. But stepped outside. This is nice. The walk to the car, I decided it was too hot and too humid. Got in the car that had been sitting there for 8 hours. Turned it on and was like, why is there no cold air? Looked over and it was chilly this morning, so I turned my AC off. I had forgot to turn it back on, and I was driving out of the parking lot when I realized the heat was on.
Yeah, because we're in the last throes of summer here, where at night it actually cools off again, and then during the day it's like surprise.
Yep.
But yeah, I had something there I was going to throw at you, Chad. Lost it.
Back check.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be a bad idea, but where would you do it?
Okay, so you never went there when they actually had lockers like at the bus station, did you?
Nope.
Okay, so for those of you who are newer to Gen Con or who haven't gone yet, there actually used to be in a couple areas where there were lockers like at the bus station. And like what Chris and I would do is that was the other reason we went down there Wednesday night. We'd
Get you a locker.
Get one of the big lockers. We just made sure we had quarters on us all the time, so we could just keep the locker the whole time. Okay.
So how often do you have to feed it?
Well, you've got the key until whenever. I don't know when they actually like clean them out or anything, but we were able to keep the key the whole 4 days. But like if you put the key back in to open it up, you have to put money in to get the key back out. So yeah, so we put money in Wednesday night, get the key, and then once we did our preliminary buying Thursday morning, we'd go and put the big stuff in the locker, and then give it another quarter or whatever it was, then get the key back.
That would be too
and
bad
we got like kind of like a taller locker like this.
Yeah.
So those are gone though. Somewhere in the remodel, those got taken out. And I'm given to understand that part of the issue that they haven't put them back in is that there are groups who have tried to claim that they represent a security threat because you don't know if someone has put something in there that's going to go kaboom.
Rapid expansion device.
Yes, with a high thermal component. However,
and metal bits involved.
Very likely. So to me, however, the counter argument is there's nothing stopping that right now. Like,
take a random backpack, leave it there, put it down Wednesday night, see if it's still there come Sunday.
Yeah, I mean it probably won't be.
No, probably won't. Someone will pick it up.
But
turn it into lost and found.
Right, but is there really anything stopping you from going to the bathroom and going to the stall and just walking out, and leaving it in there? Because I'm fairly certain I saw a bag unattended in the bathroom at one point. There's nothing stopping you doing that in a random hallway.
Yeah.
Now, in a random hallway, not to go down this trail very far, obviously the collateral aspect will be much diminished, but, if that's not your point.
Here's another thing.
Or there's the people that plan on going with it. Like, you're not going to stop that.
Nope.
No, most of the security up there is security theater. So anyway, that was before that point. Though there were politicians who were trying to push to get these things taken out, and apparently they've done so successfully at a lot of bus stops because it encourages homelessness. Apparently, because they can get the change enough to keep crap in the lockers, so they can keep it secure somewhere, like the stuff that matters. so it didn't stolen by other homeless people, which is a big problem, you know. So apparently, in an effort to fight homelessness, they put forth the idea that these are being used for like drug transactions and security, safety, and all kinds of other things. And there's people online that have mentioned, hey, look, I've done a job where I had to sweep through these lockers periodically, and yeah, we do find weapons and drugs. However, I'm fairly certain that one, that's rare, and two, even if you are, like, you could search the majority of Americans' houses and find weapons. Like that, in and of itself, isn't really saying anything.
I have a number of bladed items in this house that are not for cutting dinner.
Yeah, I mean,
Admittedly, earlier I was using one to cut up foam.
yeah. Now, I mean, if someone's keeping in one of these lockers, yes, they potentially do have a nefarious purpose in mind. I readily concede that. So apparently, there's a company that brings in lockers, like just wheel them in and rent them out.
So, wheel in lockers.
Yeah.
Set them up for 5 days.
Well,
put them in Wednesday.
Yeah, I assume
Pull them out Sunday.
I assume what happens is that daily they probably sweep through them, and you're probably renting for the day. I didn't go to their website to see what their deal is, but I've got the feeling that's probably what happens. Like if you leave it overnight, then good luck. You know, it's on you when it's not there.
Well, I would think if you're storing stuff there for you don't have to carry it around the convention center, then you're going to take everything out at the end of the day, take it back to your car, your hotel room.
Right. You should anyway. But I just mean just in general, I think that's the way they operate. So the big hubbub was who's going to pay for this? Like this is going to raise the cost of the badges. And like the guy that kept going after that, wasn't seeing that what the other general was trying to tell him was like, no, the locker company will pay GenCon and then make their money selling the lockers. Like, yeah, like GenCon isn't going to pay for diddly here. This company is going to pay GenCon. That's the way this works.
And they could.
And then it came down to, okay, but where are you going to put them? Because obviously you're not going to have enough for 75,000 people. That's not going to happen. And there weren't enough for 75,000 people before, so I don't know why that's an issue. But to my mind, I know at least one place where you can definitely put them. The second floor, whenever we come in from the car or from the parking lot, come up, there's the escalators go down.
Yeah.
That hallway
doesn't really have anything set up.
There's nothing going on in the hallway. Plus the wall space that is on the outside of the Sagamore Ballroom there. That whole wall. You could fit them in there. And I'm sure there's a couple other places in the convention center where nothing is going on. Because I agree with what they were saying. You can't put them on the first floor, basically anywhere. Because there's just too many people.
You can put it that left side of that hallway because there are people with tables on the right side.
Yeah.
But say the escalators are here and the hallway's down this way. Okay. You go left. Yeah. You have the painting stuff here with army paint.
Right.
You go on to the hallway that leads to the other half of the convention center. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
You could line the one wall and line the other wall.
They might not let you do that though because of restricting space. They might say something like it's a fire hazard.
Well, even then, where it just starts to narrow, you could put in because it's diagonal, and then it's a corner.
Yeah, the corner for sure. That corner you could, and probably up to where it turns again.
Yeah,
and maybe even a bit there because I know they set up some tables for painting right there.
Well, not along that wall though.
That's true.
That's all out by the windows where you have the good sunlight.
Yeah. So yeah, just set them up there. You get to the end of that where you can go across to the hotels that are over there, but there's the down escalator.
Yeah. That
wall. And then probably that whole little cubby up there. You can probably line the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there's probably some other spots on the second floor, is where I'd go with it. And you could probably put some over in Lucas Oil too.
Down at the other end of that hallway, you could probably put some. That down where the other skywalk is going across.
Yeah. I mean, if there weren't such a huge hub of moving people, I would say just line that wall. Because you got the side that has the arcade games, the other side.
Well,
the problem is there's too many people going in and out of there.
Yeah.
You would reduce your space and you'd be cramping people. I just don't think you'd want to do that.
And I doubt they'll get rid of the arcade games for it.
No, I doubt it. But yeah, I mean, there's space to do it. It's just a matter of will it be enough to make the venture worthwhile economically.
No.
Is the ICC fine with it? Because there
Yeah.
might be an issue with the convention center being like, no, we don't want the hassle because again, there's the theoretical threat, but again, I think that you're not really deterring it at the moment.
No.
So yeah, no, that's most of what I got on this year and potentially next year. As far as I haven't really gone into some of the next year stuff, but that's most of what I got for this year.
This year, I'm definitely going to do next year a little differently
Yeah,
because I did a few seminars that and in the end, I liked going to them. It it wasn't information for me. The how to be a better role player ones.
yeah,
They're telling you just do this stuff, but to someone like me, tell me how to do that stuff.
that's the rub, isn't it? Just be Matt Mercer.
Yeah,
It's like, well, great, but how? Like, I'm not a voice actor. And I have years of acting experience, improv experience. Like, you know,
and
what's step one there? You're
yeah,
talking like step omega there.
you're talking step 10. I need step 1 through 9.
Yeah,
Then the two I thought were the best that I went to was how not to be kidnapped by cow. Seminar on Norwegian folklore. Very interesting because it was actually put on by two Norwegians.
yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting. I took some tiny notes on it. Not great notes.
Now, when you say that, Chad, you mean your writing was tiny, or you just didn't take very many notes?
I didn't take very many notes.
Okay,
I should have. I should have went with a notepad and a pencil.
should have gone with a tripod and a camera.
Well, they did have the thing where like here's reference stuff we used, like slideshow,
Yeah,
and I got a photo of that. So, and then I made photo notes on like certain movies. They're like, yeah, this hits this stuff perfectly. Which apparently Troll Hunter is very accurate to Norwegian folklore.
the movie.
The movie on Netflix.
I've never watched it personally, but okay.
Neither have I. And then the other one was behind the scenes with Cubicle 7,
Okay.
which I liked seeing what they had coming up.
Yeah, I've got to.
Like,
I don't know. I've got to figure out something because I feel like there were things I missed this year. Like I still feel like I didn't see like half the dealers.
oh, I know I didn't. I stayed right around within like a 3 or 4 aisle and column and row area of Catalyst, and then just whatever path I meandered out. I think the farthest I went away from Catalyst was to Infinite Black.
Yeah.
To see if they had the Dragon Age dice that I really, really wanted, which were beautiful. I'm glad I bought them. I need more D6s. I'm short. I need D10s too.
Yeah.
And D8s.
But yeah.
A lot of the damage dice.
I don't know. I just gotta. I think I gotta plan things better or something. I don't know. Like, okay, like one thing I think we should definitely do differently is they give us a ticket for the Catalyst booth.
Don't wait around in line.
Yeah, once we get the ticket, even no matter how early it was, because my number was like 38, and it was still like an hour before I got in.
Yeah,
I could have then like skedaddled over to the WizKids booth.
You could have.
Like I wouldn't have made it in time for the D&D promos apparently.
No,
but like I would have at least known what I was up against at that point. And I could have gone and done some other things. Could have gone and I could have gone and got the coupon book and gone and got my die and everything if I really wanted to at that point, probably. Because the only thing I need is the card.
That coupon book line was actually pretty long.
Yeah.
But compared to Will Call, it was moving at a brisk pace.
Yeah.
Like because it's a steady. You're walking along. You grab the book. You keep walking.
Yeah. Boy, I saw people again this year learning the hard way. Like, if what you're buying, if you don't think it's going to sell out, don't get it at will call. Just buy the ticket there or have it mailed to you is the real way to do it. But if for some reason you're not going to, like the buying ticket line is so much shorter than the will call line. Just go buy the ticket. Don't go through the will call line. It's going to take you 3 days. You know,
Yeah.
like every year I see people that like come to they're like, wait, this isn't where I pick up my stuff I already bought. I'm like, no, that's that giant line. They're like, oh god damn it, why didn't I do it the other way? And I'm like, why indeed? Because you didn't watch my videos. That's why.
What was it? The second year we went, we found out how bad will call line gets. Even the Wednesday night before,
Found out. I've known for 20 years how bad it gets. That's how
and yet we still used it
that's how because we did. There was some reason why. Because Chris and I switched to having our badges delivered years ago.
Okay, so the first year I went, 50th anniversary. Weird. We got in very short will call line for us picking stuff up. We possibly cut line.
Oh, did we drift in somewhere where it's like
Okay, you know that where you go in
the
and they have that one gap?
Yeah.
I think we went in, saw the line, went, oh, that's short, and just walked over and stood there like we belong.
Well, my friend Ryan.
Do not do that. It is
my friend Ryan, Chris, and I were up here. Like the one year he went to GenCon, I don't remember where we were after, but like the lines were definitely like crossing like this. We were like back here, and he looked, and he's like, "Tell me what you want."
Yeah. And then the next year we went.
I'm not advocating any of that. Just hilarious.
And like we tried to go to will call, and it's like, yeah, follow it down. And we got to the right point, and they're like, line's over there, keep going.
Yeah, when we were outside by the baseball field.
Yes.
Jesus, I remember that.
And that's when we started really having our stuff mailed to us.
Well, I've had stuff mailed. There was some reason why we did it. I don't remember what it was.
I never had, before that, I never had my badge delivered.
Well, anyway, there's a whole other story about where and how the badges are going to be delivered next year.
Oh?
Yeah, I might revise my plan from this year.
Yeah, your little incident. You can deliver them here to me. I will keep track of them. I will literally just put everything into the same envelope and put it in my suitcase.
That's what I do with it. I just put it in my suitcase because I take the same suitcase every year. So what'll happen is I'll end up taking a different suitcase some year.
That's why you send it to me. And it just goes in with my stuff, and I ain't going to forget my stuff.
Yeah, so that's something to consider for next year. I don't remember if I got to check the videos. I don't remember if I told the story. I did in the podcast, didn't I? Okay, well, check that out, folks, if you're still with us here.
If not, we'll review and we'll tell you guys in another video.
Yeah. Whenever it comes time in January to talk about ordering the badges, that's probably when I'll bring it up again.
Yes.
So
it's horribly hilarious.
But yeah, next year, I think Brian said he's going to try to go next year again. So
I'm glad he's feeling better.
I'm glad
he made it home safe too.
Yeah, so if he does, I want to try to coordinate a little bit better. We might try a different BattleTech event. Like that one was fun, by the way. Like you missed out.
I did not. I was comfortable.
But the whole 6 hours long thing, that was kind of pushing it. So we might try to see if there's an Alpha Strike event because it should go a lot faster.
Next year is probably going to be less of the how to role play seminars. Probably going to see about more behind the scenes ones.
Yeah.
And maybe check if they're all right with recording it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to go to the Candlekeep one.
Yeah.
Because, folks, I'm telling you, Ed Greenwood, I think it's James Louder. Once they start rolling their TSR stories, that stuff is solid gold.
Yeah.
Forget D&D. That's great. The Forgotten Realms, awesome. The behind the scenes stuff from TSR, that is worth the very low price of admission. There'll probably be a new Dragonlance book again next year because I'm going to mention this in another video because I finished the Dragonlance book I picked up yesterday. I didn't pick it up yesterday. I picked it up at GenCon. I finished it yesterday. They've already announced there's another trilogy that Weiss and Hickman are working on.
Personally, for next year, I'm going to try and get in more in shape. I say that every year, but remember, folks, round is a shape.
But yeah, I don't know. The only kind of seminar stuff I wish I would have gone to is I would like to go to one of the ones that's like the downfall of TSR kind of seminars because I want to hear like from some of the people involved like what happened. Because at some point I'll get around to reading Slaying the Dragon, but in the meantime, uh, yeah. Let's see if Catalyst had anything, but I think
They
this
haven't for the
year,
last few years.
well, this year they did have stuff about writing Catalyst.
Writing for Catalyst, but not a up and coming. Here's what we have in the works.
Right. Although the writing for Catalyst apparently also has like a bunch of advice, like if you or me wanted to start writing for Catalyst. So I don't know, do some short stories for Shrapnel, I guess.
Interesting.
Uh, yeah, I want to make time for the BattleTech pods.
Yeah, that'd be nice to make time for.
So I think Saturday is where everything just kind of crashes together and doesn't work.
Well, you also have you and Chris make time for True Dungeon.
Well, right, but that's
And personally, that's a 3-hour block where I get to sit down and relax.
well,
I laid there while on my phone while they were at True Dungeon. I was fine. I was comfortable.
well, I should warn you
I had a spot out of the way.
that we've already been eyeing tokens to try to improve our True Dungeon experience. So there's a slim possibility we might actually do it more than once next year.
Okay.
In fact, we might actually just go to another convention for it.
Okay.
So
Origins?
no. Probably well maybe Origins. I gotta see what the price is. Because for those of you who don't know, they charge less at other conventions for True Dungeon. It's like 2/3 of the price at Gamehole Con.
What is this?
Gamehole Con, I think is what they call
Where
it.
is this and when is it?
It's in Michigan, I think. It's in like second week of October.
You're going to this?
Not this year because they've already wanted to have the money, but we'll have to plan for this.
You guys are thinking about planning to go to other conventions just to play more True Dungeon.
Well, I floated the idea. I don't know where Chris stands on the issue, but like if it's cheaper to play, we can play more than one time. We go there for one day, to play 2, maybe 3 times.
Can I have some of this excess money you seem to have?
I'm talking like 14 months from now. Okay, that's a while to save up the money. Plus, we probably only get a hotel for one night, the night before. We drive up there the night before. We do their gaming, and then come back that night. Probably.
You're planning all this for one True Dungeon session.
No, this is for like 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. You're planning all this just to go play True Dungeon.
I'm just saying it's a possibility.
When you could, when you're going to GenCon, schedule one Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings after Dealer's Hall shut down.
Yeah, I actually have an entirely different plan for the Gen Con True Dungeon run next year. See, I've finally started looking at the True Dungeon forums, and I've been finding some stuff out.
There are people that buy out entire time slots, and you can just piggyback with them.
Yes.
Because, they're masters who are literally like, I just want to play this, so I don't even need your help. If you want to be a body along, come along.
They just need a body to get the treasure tokens at the end, because they have things that are like, for every person that has this thing in the group, everyone gets this number of treasure tokens. So the more people they have in the group, and they have tokens for everybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to be spending some time on the forums trying to wheel and deal and see what I can get a hold of here. And I've already been eyeing some tokens that will massively increase my cleric abilities. So, from what I was told, apparently raising your healing up to plus 30 is entirely possible. That's like level.
Okay,
that's like the level 1 healing spell at plus 30. By the way.
Yeah. Okay, life cleric.
And then you get the one thing that lets you split it up between multiple people. But yeah, that's a whole other video. So
did you go start doing True Dungeon videos?
I mean, I'm the only one doing it, so I don't know who else I'd talk to about it is the problem.
I'm a good sounding board.
Well, you are sometimes. Most of the time. But plus you've done it before.
I done 2 games.
Yeah. I got to convince you to go back and do the blind draw. You don't bring any tokens. You just get 2 sleeves of tokens, and that's what you've got to work with.
We've done that before.
I know, but like that's more of a thing now. So
Now, you get set up with one of these people that bought the entire run now and has all these tokens. Tell them you have another guy who will play through with it, so that's another seat filled. He's just got to provide me all my tokens. I will do this.
hey, I mean,
It is on video.
like last year, the guy was just like, "What are you playing?" And I don't remember if it was a cleric or bard. I think it was the bard last year. And he's just like, "Here, you've got this stuff. Do these things. After that, go wild." And so every room was like, "All right, I need to like do my information check because I'm a bard. You know, like they tell me like what the thing is. Like, okay, it's this thing. Then bard song, and like I could amplify bard song, and I could fight while I had it going. So like after that, it's just attack. This year as the cleric, I was attacking more often than anything else because people just weren't getting hurt, you know, and they were able to survive. And then I could heal them at the end of the round. So I need to increase my strength to actually hit harder. But anyway, that's all. That's some other stuff for later on. So yeah, I want to do the BattleTech pods. I'd like to actually play another BattleTech game, probably Alpha Strike, though. Like I said, uh, because I think it'll go quicker.
I like the base game, but Alpha Strike seems to be the better game.
Well, it's faster. I mean, the other's more detailed.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
which I was actually thinking. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to throw this out there. I shouldn't say this because this is potentially an idea for a game. What I was thinking of earlier was how hit points are literally. This is because of the video you posted. I'd already seen it. The werewolf thing.
Oh yeah.
The problem of trying to mix D&D rules with physics.
Oh yeah, the werewolves are immune to slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning damage from non-magical and non-silvered weapons.
Right, but what does that actually mean? Like, there's the game where it's not enough to hurt them in any meaningful way. But is that because they instantly heal from it? Is that because, like, does it still hurt, but like doesn't break a bone? Like, what does that actually mean? Because the hit points are just an abstraction. It's like armor class. And what it really means is they don't take hit point damage, but do they actually take damage of some kind and it's just not enough to slow them down or something?
You're saying dropping a werewolf from the stratosphere doesn't slow it down?
No, I'm saying it should.
Yeah.
Because you're just into absurdity there. Like if you're going to go with physics, then physics is clearly going to say, yes, this is going to hurt.
Also, dropping them from the stratosphere, you're not going to get that whole, bludgeoning damage thing. You're going to get fire damage.
Yeah, well, anyway, the point is, I was thinking about this. How hit points basically don't matter. Only one hit point matters, the last one. There is no, like, oh, I'm at half hit points. Clearly I've, like, lost a limb or something, because that's not what it is. It's abstracting, like, when the killing blow finally lands. Anything else is just flavor, maybe. Well, what if instead your character had a sheet like a battle mech sheet, where as you're taking damage,
it matters where you get
and
hit.
where you're getting hit, like the distribution of like armor and I guess meat points, Oh, all my points are gone in my hand. Well, then your hand's gone.
Wouldn't it be bone points?
Well, it'll go into the internal structure, which is your bones. Critical. That's a liver.
So what? You'd have like hand, forearm, upper arm.
Yeah, I mean, it would take some work, to figure out how you're going to break it down and everything. But like, think about that for a minute. Let that swirl around.
That would. Yeah, but headshot's instant kill.
Well, it should be. I mean, like the idea, like part of the idea would be that, like, you're going for like hardcore, like wounds are going to matter kind of rules, and if you're doing that, then yeah, you get hit in the head. It's probably going to kill you.
But would you have an instant kill on the chest too?
That'd be a potential critical. if it's what they through armor criticals, what they call it in BattleTech, where you get hit right and it punches through the armor into the internal structure. So if something like that happened to the chest, then yeah, because I probably split between upper and lower torso. Because the upper torso should be more heavily armored, because the breastplate,
rib bone.
yeah. Whereas your lower torso, a hit there might kill you at some point in the future, but isn't going to kill you instantly. Now the shock might. But...
Interesting.
So yeah, if any of you steal that idea, credit me with it. Or if it exists in another game, let me know. For any of you that are still watching this.
Yeah, another game that's not BattleTech.
Yeah. So yeah, well, if you're that guy from Catalyst whose name I totally forgot, that's like, hey, I recognize you from your videos, and you take this idea,
make us a game.
Have at it. Like incorporate this into Shadowrun somehow.
No, incorporate it into a BattleTech RPG.
Yeah.
Or a Leviathan RPG.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's other things I do want to do. It's just trying to wedge them into what I'm trying to do.
I
I would love to play. I'd love to sit down for a few hours and play an RPG. One that I've never like DC Seasons. I've never played it, or Call of Cthulhu, or something.
Or superheroes, or
or
the Marvel RPG that apparently was big this last year.
Yeah, I mean something. I mean, I prefer more like fantasy and whatnot, but sure,
What about MechWarrior? Would you play MechWarrior?
Digital version of MechWarrior. Like, I actually have like MechWarrior 2, 3, and 4, although I don't have a computer that can play them.
I meant the RPG, whatever it's called.
I think it is just called MechWarrior, or it's a Time of War or something. But I don't know. I don't know what the role playing aspect of that is. I think it's primarily, hey, let's go get this contract, and then fight in the battle mechs.
But you have plots and such.
Plots.
Look, BattleTech's just Game of Thrones in space.
Nothing any plots for us when your day is done. You get taken out. Your grave.
Yeah, that is one thing with it. There's a lot in my mind I'd like to do. Like right now, there's stuff I would love to do next year. I sit down to get it all planned out. Half that stuff getting cut and thrown away.
Yeah, but I mean,
because I honestly enjoy just going through and looking around in dealers hall.
Yeah,
I didn't do it enough this year.
Yeah, there's definitely been a year or two where Chris was only able to come down like a day or two. I spent most of the time just wandering dealers hall, because I didn't want to do stuff by myself, but I did that.
Right now, my plan is honestly see if Cubicle 7's doing the up and coming with us thing again. See if any of the other companies I'm interested in are doing it at GenCon. If they are, sign up for those. And then the rest of the time, Dealers Hall.
Yeah, we need to. We need to. You got to read whoever that message was from.
Jimmy.
Actually, I think it was Owen. But we need to figure out who we want to try to get interviews with next year so we can start laying the groundwork.
Yeah.
Because the guys from Infinite Black said they would. It's just that I didn't think about it until we were too close this year. Because last year, they didn't see the email until after the show because there was a Kickstarter was running. And this year, there's a Kickstarter running too, so I figured they wouldn't see the email as late as I was getting. So, once we're signed up for events, we know what our times locked in are. And we need to start talking before that. It'd be nice to talk to the folks at Dwarven Forge again.
Yeah.
And, Chris, that's fine. Nate would be fine. The gentleman I talked to, who I mentioned in the Dwarven Forge video, whose name is totally escaping me at the moment, he'd be good too. Or anybody from Dwarven Forge. I don't care. If we could get anyone from Catalyst, that'd be great. Because apparently they recognize me. So.
On the Dwarven Forge one, what is it? I just had it. Dayton Gaming, etc. another YouTube channel ran by a friend, Luke.
Yeah, I've mentioned it.
He got an interview with Nate this last Gen Con.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
So if you guys want to head over to his channel, watch an interview with Nate.
I will try to link it in the description.
If not, I can put it in a response. Just let me know when the video goes live.
Okay, but if I remember that, then I'll remember. But,
yeah.
So.
But yeah, he got several interviews with people at Gen Con. I think that's what his channel has been here recently. It's Gen Con interview.
Yeah. So yeah, like it'd be nice if I knew for sure if Jim was going and what days, so I could plan around that. Because if we could get someone to record the opening again, without because the problem is like we need to get into the dealer's hall.
Yeah.
So what I could do though, if Chris was willing, have him get the ticket from Catalyst.
Yeah.
For me, I'll record the opening. You guys go in and get the tickets, and then we'll meet back up.
Catalyst is your first stop every year. Why not? I can just go to the Catalyst booth while you're getting the video.
Yeah,
or vice versa.
Yeah, but I like actually going to the booth.
I can go there and get your card.
Are you saying you wouldn't go in the booth then? You know what? Actually, this year they asked me if it was for a single person or like a couple.
I am not saying we're a couple, buddy.
No, we're platonic friends. Okay? But that would be another thing is I need to know if Sarah's going. So
yeah.
Plan accordingly.
And if she's going, you have someone who could go to the booth for Catalyst. Get your card.
Yeah. But
the
yeah.
Benefits.
Well, if we have the whole posse with us, then it might be one person goes and gets a card for the two of us, while everyone else goes to the WizKids booth.
Good point. Good point.
But yeah, so I suppose we'll need to come up with a list of who we want to try to interview.
I can come up with a list pretty easily.
And if any of you folks are still watching, and there's anyone you would like to see us try to interview, hopefully coupled with some questions, because if it's someone we don't know, like, don't point me to like the guy that made the Gnome game that sold out this year. I don't know anything about the game, don't know anything about the company, so like I would need to know what the deal with the gnomes is.
And don't. Well, it would be great. A suggestion like interview Matthew Lillard probably won't fly that well.
Yeah,
maybe we don't know.
I mean, we can try.
Yeah, we could try, but
well, I should try anyway because there's total non-gaming questions I want to ask him. But
how was it acting on the set of Wing Commander?
Wing Commander? Oh no, Chad, no. In the name of the king.
Oh yeah.
What was it like to work for Uwe Boll?
Yeah.
Did he challenge you to a boxing match like he did some of his critics? Did you win? I think Lillard would have the reach. He's pretty tall.
Yeah, he is.
No, I mean, like wow. that would be like the last question because he's gonna like punch me in the face or ask that or something.
You might get a laugh out of it.
It'd be more like I'd ask him like, what was his favorite movie? I'm sure it's a question he gets asked all the time. But like, what was your favorite movie working on? Like,
he'll say Wing Commander.
I mean, maybe I don't know.
I enjoy that movie, folks. I never played the game. I enjoy the movie.
Like, I assume he is friends with Freddie Prinze Jr. So
they've been in like 3 or 4 movies together.
That's what I'm saying. I'm sure they're friends. So like, he probably did enjoy himself, But yeah. Also, I'm curious if they were to offer him to come back to the Scream franchise and say his character didn't die in the first movie, would he do it?
That is a question.
Well, the real deal is going to be to see how he answers the question. Because if it gets then it's like, oh, I know what
that means. So they have asked you.
Yeah. But if it's a flat no, then it's only a 50% chance they've asked him.
Like my question, the gentleman who did the Cubicle 7 seminar, that I asked him a question about, since they had the Games Workshop like RPG licensing, did they have plans for Horus Heresy?
No.
I got a cannot confirm nor deny state.
Yep. That means at the very least he's signed a non-disclosure agreement
That
about it.
means at the very least the idea has been brought up to Games Workshop, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Here's a do not discuss with anybody else paper before we go farther."
Yeah, I've seen that with like comic book folks at conventions. They some of them will say, point blank, like, do not tell me story ideas because they don't want you somehow being on film telling them a story idea. And then even if they've already started a similar idea, they have to go scrap it because now theoretically you can try to sue them and say, hey, I gave them the idea. Where's my money?
Yeah. Whereas to me, if I did that and it was a similar story, I'd be like, "Holy cow! They thought my idea was good enough to twist into this."
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I'd be like, hey, look, I've got an idea. Whatever I have to sign that says you own this after I tell it to you, if you think it's trash and never publish it, whatever, I don't care. Kind of like I told my cousin the idea I had for a show like 6, 7 years ago, right? And I saw that there's an animated series with that very premise coming out next year.
What is
this
it?
year. The idea was, now theirs is slightly different, but my idea was have a show where a guy has like won the lottery or something, but he chose the payments instead of the lump sum. And so each episode is like, how's he going to spend the money in this episode?
Oh,
And so that's what they're doing. Only for them, it's like universal basic income instead of the lottery.
figure out how to spend this money.
Right. Each episode is like, we've got X number of dollars. Theirs is animated, so it can get really wacky. But
yeah. That'd be interesting.
So and I had like a few ideas lined out, but just like the idea of, wow, I actually had an idea like that a few years ago, and obviously didn't tell whoever made the show. I'm not trying to claim that or anything.
Your cousin made the show.
Maybe, I don't know, but probably not. But
wait, which cousin?
Gabe.
Nope, he didn't make the show.
And
probably not.
Wow, Chad. We was from my cousin on the bus there. But
I met one of his.
Yes, our former coworker. Yeah. So anyway, just to see that like someone else had a similar idea and that it got greenlit and that it's going forward, it's like, well,
that idea had merit.
Yeah, apparently I do have some creative ability. But yeah. So yeah, next year, better planning. Gotta figure out because I really don't want to sign up for a ton of events. It's literally just like True Dungeon, the costume contest. Excuse me. Maybe Candlekeep. Maybe a BattleTech thing. Maybe see the cards get destroyed in Cardhalla. And I mean that's it. Like if a seminar jumps out at me, or if there's a game I want to play test or something, like that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I signed up for 4 events this year. Costume contest, True Dungeon, BattleTech thing. That might be it. And I still felt like I didn't have enough time. Like I don't even know what else I do with most of my time.
Yeah, I know that.
So yeah, better planning, better trying to figure out who else with us.
Yeah, because apparently, I know my Tuesday friends, my Tuesday group for role playing and tabletop gaming.
They're only friends with them on Tuesday.
Yep,
that's what I meant.
Totally what I meant. Most of them went this last year.
Yeah, I ran into Luke and
Doug, Devin.
I think it's Devin. Doug, I think Doug was with him, but
yeah. Bryce went. Everybody but like Jeff. And Jeff said his crowds weren't his thing.
Yeah, I've talked about that before.
And they all went, and they're already talking about going again. So I got like, I am starting to get this Venn diagram of friends going to GenCon, and I would like to spend time with all of them, but I gotta find time to like.
Yeah, welcome to my problem from 2 years ago when you, Brad, Sarah, all went.
2 years ago, I was downtown too. You gotta remember that part.
Sure, but like that conglomeration and like trying to actually make time for everybody
Oh well,
while not actually trusting Chris or Brad when they're like, no, we're fine.
yeah.
Like I'm like, are you really fine? Or like, are you just saying that? I think I'm saying that.
Which is why Thursday was the best day for you. You didn't have to worry about that
Yeah,
because Wednesday night you spent downtown with me.
yeah. So yeah, that's what we got to plan on, and we need to definitely do a little division of labor on some of these things. Like, like I said, like one person going to get two things at Catalyst, or say it's for two people.
Oh yeah, that thing. Not me having to pull more weight for the channel. Okay.
Well, I mean that too, but
My plan next year is to try and get an okay actual video recorder.
strap a camera to your forehead.
Get an actual like good okay camera, not a phone,
Oh, well,
and actually record stuff with it.
This phone that I have now is fantastic. I can take clear pictures of the moon with this thing.
Or get my phone upgraded by then.
Yeah.
I am like 2 generations behind on the Pixel.
Well, this is like an S23.
I
had an S9 before this.
I have a Pixel 7.
I don't even know where that puts me on things, but it was really far behind.
Pixel 7a Pro.
Yeah.
And they're on the 9 now. I don't know if I should wait till the 10 comes out and get that, or go ahead and get the 9.
Well, that's one of the things is we need to like figure out some sound issues between now and then.
Yeah.
Because like trying to record in crowds, and the trial run will be at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But
if I end up going.
Well, even if you don't.
Because I talked about cutting back my conventions to 1 a year and GenCon better draw.
Well,
I'm not big into comics. Anything I want from Comic-Con, Bobby could easily text me, hey, do you want this? And yeah.
Yeah. So before you
by the way, it's going to be G.I. Joe classified figures most of the time. So
yeah. So before you totally commit to that, like, can I sell you on Adepticon?
You don't have to sell me on Adepticon. I am sold on Adepticon.
Because like I'm thinking I don't know if it's going to be next year.
I just need to get up there.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be next year, but like we need to go because Catalyst sets up there. Dwarven Forge is starting to really go into it. I'm sure there's a bunch of Warhammer stuff. Like it's the miniatures conventions
where Gen Con is the gaming convention. It is the big gaming convention in the U.S.
Yeah.
Adepticon is the big tabletop wargaming convention. They will literally have like national level tournaments there.
Yeah. Not that I'm going for that, but yeah.
No, I just want to go to see what I have. Apparently, there's booths that sell miniature bits. Just little pieces. You can go dig through them all day long. And it's like...
Huh. You like to pick a brick for Lego?
Yeah. One of the channels I watch a lot, Tabletop Minions, he goes.
Yeah. Well,
although this last year would have been the one for me to go because Tabletop Time was there.
Yeah, so the big potential problem is, like, that seems to be the same weekend as GaryCon the last couple of years. And I think some other convention, too.
I'm alright with going to Adepticon over the others.
Well, hear me out. Let's say we get a hotel room for Adepticon.
Yeah.
GaryCon is within, like, a couple of hours.
Nope.
We go
drop me off at Adepticon and get going.
We go like Friday to Adepticon. Saturday we drive up to GaryCon and come back. And then Sunday we go to Adepticon.
I don't have the money for 2 conventions on one weekend.
I'm just throwing it out.
Look, if I want to go to a 3rd convention in a year...
I'm talking a 3rd and a 4th. Keep going.
For me, like Adepticon will be 2. I will cut out Comic-Con and go to Adepticon. I'm going to go to, like, what's he calling it? The one Uncle Adam with Tabletop Minions is putting on recently.
I don't know.
Like, last few years, he's had one local that he's ran to. And Like, I would go to that over going to, like, those. I'd have more interest.
Well, it's just a thought. All right. Well, Chad, you got any other thoughts on this year, next year?
I need to get in shape. I need to get new shoes.
Well, you got plenty of time to get the new shoes and get in shape.
And yes, folks, round is just shape, like we joke, but I need better physical fitness for it.
Yeah, I mean, it is not. It is not a convention for the not fit. Like, unless you're like going to like just post up somewhere. Like, no.
You should be okay with being on your feet for at least 8 hours a day and walking for miles in a day, which that works for Doug.
Yeah.
He's a mailman,
Yeah. There you go. He has all
so
the training he needs.
he was just happy he didn't have people yelling at him about where's their mail. He had less steps than the usual day when he was at gym.
Well, I mean, yeah. Is he a city carrier?
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, he's apparently missing the little fin in the LLV.
Oh no, it's no good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to figure out where one of my Dragonlance books is.
Which one?
The one I got 2 years ago at GenCon. I can't find it.
That one?
Yeah.
Do you need it?
Hmm.
Do you need it?
Well, I mean, I ultimately will for my collection.
If you can't find it, let me know. You can have mine.
Okay.
It's not signed or anything, though. You'd have to take it next year to get signed.
There should be.
It might be. I don't know.
Like, I don't think it'd be personalized, but it should be signed because all the ones.
I think it was take it to the booth and get it signed. I don't think I did
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got to think. Like, I don't think I let Brad borrow it, but I also kind of remember that I think his got torn up by his dog, and so I might have.
Mine's around here somewhere.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna keep looking for mine before I resort to trying to ask Brad's nephew if he came across it anywhere.
A non-torn up version.
Yeah, um, yeah, because I have the one from last year and I have the one from this year. But anyway, yeah, we've been rambling for quite a while here, Chad. So we probably better go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah, probably should.
So yeah, if you're somehow still with us,
It's been a while. Been a lot of Bobby.
Watch around probably January sometime. I'll have a video talking about when the badges go up for sale. Probably be some talk then, like I usually say, as far as whether I'd buy it now or not, and with the ins and outs, and we'll have to take into account the fact that it did sell out this year, even though it's only like 2 weeks from the show, but it did sell out. So I think that's going to push more people to buy them earlier next year. That would be my guess. But I don't think it's going to be like, oh, you need to order them the weekend they come out. Like, unless you're going for the housing portal. But I'll talk all about that in the next video. So, well, in that video, who knows? There might be another video between now and then. Yeah. Other than we got to remember to talk about the cups we can buy inside the convention center too.
Some of my friends bought those and said, "Well, the cup's nice. It wasn't a great deal."
Well, it depends on how much you drink.
Yes, depends on how much soda you drink.
Because hear me out. I'll lay out the math real quick. It's $22 for the cup. Okay, which presumably they fill up when you buy it. I'm going to assume that's the case.
Yeah, and then $1 for every
That's
time.
$1 for every time after that. Okay, a large drink, which is not as large as that cup, is $8. So if you buy 3 large drinks, that's $24. You spend $22 on the cup and get 2 refills, that's $24. So you're even at that point. Plus, you're probably a little bit ahead because of the amount of soda you're getting.
Yeah.
Everyone after that is $1 versus $8. Like,
yeah, if you're going to go around drinking a lot of soda, it's probably a good deal. And the cups do look cool.
Like I said, it's dependent on how much you do. You know.
But like, if you don't drink a lot of soda, And
So I want to hear how you're going to justify that's a bad deal.
I ain't saying it's a bad deal.
But all you can drink soda at Wild Bill's is somehow a good idea.
That's not a good idea either.
Like I'm waiting to hear how you go, this one's fine, but this one, I don't drink that much soda, and I'm sitting over here like, the hell you don't.
I don't. Yeah, sure. I had like maybe 5 cups of Wild Bills a day while we were there, but that's craft soda.
Maybe 5 cups a day of the Beatus water.
Maybe not 5. It might have been 3. Okay.
I had like 7 or 8. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
We had that's a craft soda versus
Yeah,
Coca-Cola, Pepsi.
I think they're Coke products. Which part of the other problem? I don't like Coke other than from McDonald's as far as fountain Coke.
Only soda I'd be tempted to get from the from actual like that would be Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I'd probably end up getting Dr. Pepper a lot.
Because Wild Bills don't have Dr. Pepper. Wild Bills, make a Dr. Pepper flavor.
The Wild Bills bring a second booth and put it inside the convention center. Like
Great idea
for Comic-Con.
That's a great idea. Put a second booth in the convention center.
Yeah,
although
I don't think they're going to because it would take a second booth because the better area is outside.
Yeah, because that's where all the food trucks
are. It's just I think for Comic-Con, like there isn't an outside thing going on, so they put it inside, and it's all paid to work out.
Because they also had the gourmet peanut butter sandwiches inside of Comic-Con.
Yeah, and Comic-Con also sells alcohol inside. So,
yep.
Yeah. GenCon does not.
Yep. Because GenCon realizes there's a lot more tempting purchases.
Well, yeah.
And they want you to be sober when you're inside buying stuff.
Well, now, that's not the way merchants usually work. I think they'd prefer you to not be sober, but...
GenCon, not the actual vendors. I'm saying GenCon.
Yeah.
They don't want people, sobering up and then being pissed at GenCon because they blew all their money on the first day on one item.
I mean, easily doable, but...
Easily doable.
No matter how much you bring, for $5,000, buy a table. There it goes, right there.
I might do that if I brought $5,000.
God.
Go up to one, actually, look around at the booth doing it and being like, which ones do I like the best?
Yeah, I mean, those tables are nice.
They are. But 5,000 is the base model.
Yeah.
With, maybe 4 chairs. I would want the add-ons. I'd like the upgrades.
Yeah, I mean, you just...
Give me that inset LED lighting on
you just buy a table like this one right here and just add some stuff to it. I mean, you're just getting some basic model thing.
Yeah. You need a lot more than 5,000 for those tables. Plus, if you have a gaming group with any size to it, you need more than the chairs that come with the table.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we ever start a Patreon and these fine folks want to see us play on one of those tables,
I'd be more than happy to take their money to buy one.
Yeah, well, there's other things we'll definitely be sinking any kind of money into well before that, like better audio and video equipment, and maybe like an actual studio somewhere. But at the very least, better audio and video equipment in Jim's parents' basement, which is kind of working out. We need
a little bit, yeah, but it needs to be quiet. We already have audio issues.
That's right.
Unless we set it up down the hallway from the room a little bit, blowing straight at the door.
And keep the door open?
Yes.
Maybe.
But then where we go?
What about a fog machine? Dry ice? Would the fog be kind of cold? But I think it would build up in the room.
It would.
Carbon dioxide poisoning.
Also, no one would be able to see us.
Yeah, eventually. I expect Sammy Terry to come out at some point. But do you have any idea who Sammy Terry is, Chad? You know Elvira?
Yeah.
Okay, like movie host?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's like the one out of Indianapolis.
Oh.
He's been doing it since like the 60s.
Is he still doing it?
Well, the original's not. He's dead. I just found that out the other day. I thought it was still him. And I was like, man, he's got to be like 90-something. Well,
he was.
He would be. His son took it over, and apparently he's pretty adept at it. So,
cool.
but yeah, he like does live stuff, and saw it the other day on the Shutter Reddit forum where people are like, "Hey, maybe Shutter needs to get someone else like Joe Bob Briggs for when Joe Bob's not on." Like the other part of the year or something. Maybe like a rotating cast or something.
Wait, Joe Bob Briggs is only like part of the year?
Yeah, although this year they got smart, and he only does one movie per episode, and the episodes are every other week. So they stretched it out over like half the year.
Okay.
But like, there's still the other half of the year. Plus, he does like, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, and Valentine's Day episodes. So
what does he do? What videos does he do for Valentine?
it just depends. Like, he does.
Like, he can only review My Bloody Valentine so many times.
I don't think he's ever actually done My Bloody Valentine on there. It's been other movies. 1 year Halloween is several of the Halloween movies. 1 year for Christmas it's the Phantasm movies. Silver Balls.
Oh, okay.
1 year, except for Phantasm 2, because Shudder doesn't have the rights to Phantasm 2, because a different movie studio made it.
Yeah, I see the link there.
And Darcy still keeps trying to convince him to do Halloween 3, because in the last episode they were talking about, like, if she had any wishes for whenever she was dead, what to do with her body, and she's like, I don't care, we did. She's like, and he's like, I figured you want your ashes scattered over the Silver Shamrock factory since they tore it down earlier this year. And she's like, oh, you reminded me of that. That's right. She's like, yeah, maybe that. Because he just refuses to do Halloween 3. He's like, it's trash. We're never going to touch that. She's like, come on.
Not
Joe.
The worst movie.
Like, we could probably even get Tom Atkins on here. He's still alive, the main guy.
Yeah.
She's got a crush on Tom Atkins. But, yeah. Anyway, we are wildly off course right now.
We are.
So maybe we can get Sammy Terry on here.
Maybe.
So anyway, folks, anything you want to know about GenCon from this last year, or stuff you want us to try to look for in the future? Any companies you want us to try to get an interview with?
And if you haven't gone, do you have any questions in general about GenCon?
Yeah, I actually get a lot of questions. So check the comments in older videos. I get a lot of questions about GenCon from those videos. So people are definitely watching them and getting information, and hopefully good information. I really hate to believe I'm passing along bad information.
Look, it's never bad information to tell someone 2 months before a big convention to buy new shoes.
Yeah. I almost failed to take my own advice on that. I bought mine about a month before.
I did not buy new shoes for this.
So anyway, I think that's about it. So, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you've somehow stuck it out to this point, thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
you're a mega fan.
But yeah, other than that, comment down in the comments. I've said that several times now. So subscribe, that'd be great. But and keep an eye out. Like I said, it'll probably be January. I think the badges aren't actually going to go on sale until the first week of February, from what they said. But I'll start talking about it whenever they announce it, which will be 3 weeks before they actually put them on sale.
And then we get the great story.
Yeah. Then you'll get if you haven't heard it from the other videos, then you'll get the great story. I'll try to remember to tell it then.
Oh, I'll remind you.
But anyway, I think that's about it. So, folks, we'll be seeing you later.